Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Grounded Strength series. This is actually going to be our last flow class of this series. So I'm really excited to share this practice with you because it's what we've been building on the whole month. So we've been working hard, showing up, creating proper alignment in our poses, building strength from the ground up. And now today we're just going to enjoy the fruits of our labor. We're going to work through a flow, just a light moving flow, not a lot of stopping, not a lot of correcting. We really can just tune into the body and feel a little bit more fluid and expansive from all the strength that we built. So that's my intention for today. I'm sure I'll still do some cueing. And if it's too much, you can always comment below and let me know if you'd like me to do a little less talking and more moving. Okay. So take a moment to set your space. You'll need a mat, of course. A blanket can be helpful, again, to sit your feet on, to open your hips, especially when we move into seated postures. It can be helpful to protect the knees if you've got anything going on there. A couple of blocks are always a good thing to have. So if you have yoga blocks, go ahead and grab them. If not, if you have a couple of tall books that are sturdy or a couple of really firm pillows, just have them by your side in case you might want them. And other than that, just join me on the mat and we'll begin our practice together. Okay, we're here. Let's do it, right? So we're actually just going to begin today in tabletop position. So I'm going to slide the blanket out from under me and move into my tabletop. You can do the same. And just to begin here, a little foundation to set up. So arms are shoulder width apart, shoulders right over the wrists, fingers spreading nice and wide, and we're pressing into that inner crease between the index finger and thumb. We're drawing the navel toward the spine and lengthening through the tailbone and the crown of the head. Drawing the knees down onto the mat firmly, tops of the toes are tucked, and the legs are hip width apart. Energetically squeeze the knees toward one another so you feel those inner thighs engage. And then from this rootedness, we can begin to move. So inhaling, drawing the heart forward and up, and exhaling, rounding, starting at the bottom of the spine, middle of the spine, top of the spine. Inhale, moving the heart through. Gaze is last to move, so the gaze may be about neutral. It can still be down at the ground, or maybe you work with looking up toward the ceiling. But protect the neck, first and foremost. Good, and now just finding a rhythm, connecting to your breath, and starting to see what pace and how deep the movements feel good right now. So maybe you want to back off a little bit, stay nice and slow. Maybe it feels good. Maybe you're already warmed up and you'd really like to bring some rigorous movement or vigorous movement into your flow. Just don't get ahead of the breath. Let the breath lead the way. And see if you can begin to warm up the whole spine. So not just that lower spine, but as you round the back, really articulate through the mid spine and the upper back between the shoulder blades. Good. A couple more rounds just like this. Good. And if at any time you need to take a child's pose, just go ahead and rest, okay? So that'll be bringing the toes together, the knees a little bit wider, and sitting the sit bones back onto the heels. So come here anytime you want to catch your breath, to ground your energy, to integrate something you just worked on. This is always an option. But settling into your table, if you're with me here, we'll extend the left arm forward, we'll extend the right leg back, and just take 3 breaths here. Remember to plug in the shoulder blade, plug in that back hip, toes are pointed down toward the ground. One more inhale, and exhale, hands come down. Grounding back into our foundation, squeezing everything toward the middle of the mat. Extend the right arm, extend the left leg. Reach through the fingers and toes, then plug in the shoulder, plug in the hip. Draw the navel toward the spine. 2 more breaths. Good. One more. Inhale. And exhale, hand comes down, knee comes down. And we'll walk the knees back just a step or two, tuck the toes, and press up and back into a down dog. So again, we're still just warming up the body. So no need to press the heels all the way down if they're not yet ready. Just rocking back and forth, checking in with the body in this shape, in this form. And then maybe you begin to pedal the legs, walking out your dog. Good. Maybe you want to take the legs as wide as the mat, the toes as wide as the mat, and then really lift up through the hips and press down through the backs of the legs. Nice. Let the head hang heavy. You can shake the head, yes, no. Whew. This is where the tension sneaks up on me. I really get in touch with where my neck is stiff. Good. Keep drawing the navel toward the spine, drawing the outer elbows in. And then inhale, look forward, and exhale as you tiptoe the toes to the front of the mat and fold. Keeping the feet grounded, inhale, come up halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Staying with a micro bend in the knees, so never locking them out. Let's inhale and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae into mountain pose. Take a breath here, ground, connect back inward, connect to the breath. Maybe you connect to an intention, a quality that you would like to embody in this practice. Maybe you just take a moment to notice your energy level today. Notice what's present in the body, in the mind, emotionally. Just taking a moment to become aware of these layers of our being, and as we move forward, honoring them, honoring every aspect of ourselves. Good. Release the hands down. Inhale, reach up, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, place the palms down and step the left foot back behind you. Bend into that front right knee right over the ankle and drop the back knee down. So we're in a low lunge position here. Squeeze the front heel toward the back knee and inhale, reach up. Full low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Plug the shoulder blades in, draw the front ribs toward the spine, and then see if you can find a little more length. Hello to that back hip. My left hip is awake. Good. Taking a breath here. And then reaching down. We're going to begin to straighten that front leg into a runner's lunge. So here might be a nice option to place your hands up on some blocks or just stay right where you are. And sending that right hip back. Toes are pointing straight up toward the ceiling. Shoulders down the back, away from the ears. Good. And now we're saying hello to that right hamstring, or I am, for sure. Good. And then bending back into the front knee, placing the hands and step back, plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And as you exhale, lower down. So maybe you take knees, chest, chin, or you lower all the way down simultaneously. Press through the back toes until the tops of the feet are on the mat. And then inhale, roll up, cobra. Good. And exhale, lower down. Feel free to take the hands out wide or keep them next to the ribs. Just finding what feels good in the shoulders today. Inhale, lengthen the whole of the spine. Then lift up. Little by little, the heart lifts. And lower down. One more here. Pressing through the palms of the hands. Inhale, heart moves forward, spine lengthens. And exhale, lower. Pressing back up to down dog. Good. And just settling in here. If you'd like to, you can lift the right leg up, bend the knee, and open the hip. Maybe you want to circle the ankle one way and then the other. Good. And then lowering that leg. Picking up the left leg and doing the same. So extending through the heel first, then bend the knee, open the hip, Square your shoulders, and maybe you roll the ankle. Feel free to stay in a steady down dog if you'd rather not do this stretch today. Good. Then inhale, looking forward. Exhale, stepping or hopping lightly to the front of your mat and folding. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Take a beat here, bend the knees. Let the abdomen rest on the thighs, grabbing opposite elbows, and just sway it out a little bit. Good. Rooted in the feet. And then slowly roll up, articulating through each vertebrae. Good. Finding your rootedness in all four corners of the feet. Inhale, lengthen through both sides of the body, and exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, place the hand, step the right foot back behind you, lower the knee down, and setting up for our low lunge on this side, Anjaneyasana. So when you're ready, lifting the arms up, plugging the shoulder blades in, keeping those bottom legs squeezing toward one another, drawing the ribs in, low lunge. Good, and placing the hands down, we begin to straighten that front knee, coming into a runner's lunge. Noticing the difference on this side, I definitely feel a little tighter on my left side compared to my right. And keep moving that left hip back, right hip forward, pressing down through the fingertips, but moving the shoulders away from the ears. And then, you'll feel that hamstring. Good. Bending back into the front knee, placing the hands, lift the back knee and step back plank pose. So options to take knees, chest, chin here, or on your next exhale, bend the elbows straight back behind you and lower. Inhale, rolling the shoulders down the back, coming up cobra. And exhale, pressing up and back, down dog. Good, and just settle in for this down dog if that feels good. Keep a gentle bend in the knees. Pressing the shoulder blades away from one another on the back. So we're rolling those outer elbows in and keeping a little bit of a round in the upper back as the navel draws toward the spine. And at any time, you can just sigh the breath out. If anybody looks at you funny, just tell them, try it. Better out than in, right? With irritation and frustration. And then looking to the front of your mat, bending the knees and stepping, walking, or gently hopping to the front of the mat and fold. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, folding. Inhale, rising, reaching up. And exhale, hands swim down, crown of the head lengthens. Breathing in as you reach up and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, place the hand, step the left foot back behind you, bend into the front knee. Squeeze the legs toward one another and lift, high lunge. Now, if it feels a little sticky in that back hip, remember you can always drop the knee, scoop the tailbone, draw the ribs in, and then begin to press through the back heel to straighten the leg. Good. Breathing here. One more in-breath in this high lunge, and then we're going to swivel the back foot down and come into our warrior two. Good. Keep bending into that front knee, and this bottom thigh is going to want to dip down. So we want to turn it in, turn it like we're moving it under the front leg almost, that inner thigh. And then you'll get some length through the back leg, and you'll feel a little more strength and steadiness. One more breath here. And exhale, place the hands and step back plank pose. Take an in-breath here, and you can press straight back to down dog or lower all the way down. Inhale, shoulders roll down the back, cobra. And exhale, press up and back, down dog. Good, settle in here. Breathe. Letting the energy integrate. Letting your nervous system work with this stress. And coming back to rest and digest. Inhale, looking toward the front of the mat. Walk, step, or lightly hop to the front of the mat and fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, lower. Heart towards the shins. And then inhale, rolling all the way to standing, lengthening as tall as you can. And then sweep your arms through your energy field. Heart lifts. Beautiful. Every movement is an offering. Inhale, reach up, open up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, place the hands, step the right foot back behind you, bending into the front knee, squeezing the toes toward one another. Inhale, high lunge. Take a moment to bend into that front knee, right in line with the ankle. And if you need to, bend the back knee, scoop the tailbone, lengthen through the body and press through the back heel. And take a breath here. Tune into the feet. Notice the rootedness, the groundedness. And then swiveling the back foot, coming into a warrior two. Good. And you'll notice I slid my back foot back a bit. So if you need a little more length, go ahead and take that. Breathing here. So legs are simultaneously spreading away from one another, but the feet are squeezing toward one another. That keeps the engagement in the inner thighs. Good. And then looking toward the front hand, middle of the finger, cartwheel the hands down and step back, plank pose. Again, you can move right back into a child's pose, into a down dog. Take knees, chest, and chin, or on your next exhale, bend the elbows, lower down. Roll the shoulders, inhaling cobra, or if you'd like to, press through the hands, lift the thighs, coming up into up dog. And exhale, press back, down dog. Couple of breaths here. Let it settle. Let that round of movement integrate and dissolve, letting go of it as soon as it's completed. Non-attachment. And then inhaling, looking forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step or lightly hop to the front of the mat and fold. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Exhaling, folding, dropping in. Rooting into the heels, bending the knees slightly. Inhale, roll up, reach up. And exhale, drop the hands to heart center. Good. Catch your breath. Let the mind settle. See if you can come back to that observer space, just witnessing the practice as it unfolds in your body. Good. Release the hands. Inhale, reach up, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, place the hands, step the left foot back behind you, swivel the back heel down, and come up warrior two. Good. So finding your warrior two position first. Making sure that back thigh is lifting. I got to check myself. Good. And then you can heel toe that back foot in just a beat, just a couple of inches, if you'd like to. Begin to straighten the front leg. And then begin to lean over that front leg. So leaning the torso, lean, then drop the bottom hand to the outside of the ankle, to the shin, to a block, a stack of blocks, as long as they're steady. Good. And just working here to square the hips. Then begin to lift the top arm and twist through the upper back between the shoulder blades, coming into triangle. Breathing here. This used to be one of my least favorite poses, but after practicing it again and again and again, I actually enjoy it now. Placing the top hand onto the hip and looking toward the front of the mat. Bend into the front knee, place the hand about 6 inches in front and to the right of that foot. Swivel the back foot up and press the leg up. So you can stay here, just balancing on that one leg, pressing through the back heel, plugging the hip in, or perhaps you begin to turn the back toes toward the ceiling and notice how that twists the leg and opens up the torso. And then maybe you extend that top arm, half moon. Good. And it really is important here to keep things plugged in, plug the shoulder blade in, plug the hip in. It's really going to provide stability in these wobbly type poses. And then bringing the top arm down, step the back foot back, front foot back, plank pose. Here we are. Feel free to press into a child's pose, a down dog, or lower down. Inhale, coming into cobra or up dog. And exhale, down dog. Breathe. Settle. Notice where there may be holding, tension, and see if you can begin to release that and relax that. Relaxing the muscles of the face, relaxing the jaw. Good. And on an inhale, look forward, and this time, step the left foot to the front of the mat. Swivel the back foot down and come up warrior two on the left side. So left front knee is pointing right over that second toe. We're lifting that back inner thigh up and away, pressing through the back edge of the back foot. Warrior two. And then if you need to, you can heel toe that back foot in just a step or two. Begin to straighten through the front leg. Don't lock the knee out though. And then lean from the front hip, leaning over that front leg until the body naturally stops. Place the hand, maybe shin, maybe block, maybe floor. And then squaring the hips toward the front of the mat. Once you've got that, maybe you begin to twist through the shoulder blades. The gaze follows and the top arm lengthens. Triangle. Trikonasana. Good. Top hand comes to hip, looking toward the front of the mat, bend into the front knee. Fingertips come about 6 inches in front and to the left of the front foot. Swivel the back heel up and then press. Good. And maybe you stop here today. Maybe you begin to straighten that front leg a little more. Maybe those back toes begin to point up toward the ceiling, which twists open the body. Ooh, a little bit more wobbly on this side for me. And then extend the top arm up, half moon. There may be wobbling, that's cool, no problem. And let me just show you that if you do start to fall backward, that can feel kind of scary. So you can do this pose at a wall, so your back is on the wall, there's nowhere to fall. Or you can just step that back foot down. Whew. Okay, there is a floor behind you. Good. Placing the hands down, stepping the back foot down, stepping the front foot back, and coming into your child's pose, down dog or lowering down. This is the last vinyasa. Rolling the shoulders down the back, cobra or up dog. And exhale, pressing up and back, down dog. Sigh it out. Pat yourself on the back. You made it. You did it. You showed up today. And it really doesn't matter which poses you did or didn't do. The fact is you showed up and you committed to yourself and you followed through on that commitment. Yoga is just a playground for the mind. to work on our mind's patterns. And inhale, look forward. You can step or lightly hop to the front of the mat and then take a seat. Good, and extending the legs straight out in front of you. I'm going to move the blocks to the side. Heels pressing down, legs squeezing strongly toward one another. Placing the hands down, roll the shoulders down the back. And lift the chest, ever so slightly tuck the chin. I'm breathing here in Dandasana, staff pose. And we're focusing on beginning to cool the body down. So if the mind feels intense and fiery, sending deep breaths there. You can blow it out through the mouth, releasing that steam, releasing that heat. Inhale, lengthen through the arms, and exhale, fold forward. Maybe you reach for the toes, the shins, the side of the mat. Maybe you have a strap and you're wrapping that around the feet. So just finding the position that feels best, most honoring in your body today, and folding into Paschimottanasana. Each inhale, you can lengthen through the crown of the head. Each exhale, soften down. And this is one of those seated poses that's good for so many things. So it's one that it can be good to hold for a few breaths. It's very grounding. It helps with digestion. It helps to calm the mind. It can be helpful with menstrual cramps. Good, and inhale, slowly rolling back up to seated, bending the right knee and taking that knee out to the right side, plugging the right foot into the left inner thigh, squaring the hips over that left leg. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, fold. Janu Shirshasana. Again, hands don't have to reach the feet. Maybe they're on the shins, maybe they're on the mat or on some blocks, and you're working here today. Any option is a good option, as long as it is honoring your body, working at your edge, not pushing past it. And just if the fingertips are down, pointing the elbows up toward the sky and rolling the shoulder blades away from the ears. Inhale, lifting up, and we'll switch sides. So right leg extends out, left foot to the right inner thigh, squaring the hips, reaching and lengthening first, and then exhale, folding. Good. With each in-breath, an opportunity to notice if there's a little bit more length that wants to be found. And an exhale to soften and surrender down. Good. Inhaling, looking forward, and exhale, rolling back up to seated. Pressing the feet hip width apart and rolling onto your back. Good. Settling onto a flat back here, hugging the knees in toward the chest and gently rocking from side to side. If that feels okay on the back, can feel really nice on the lower back, but for some of us, it's not going to, and that's okay. So don't do it if it doesn't feel good. And then finding steadiness, begin to extend the heels toward the ceiling, but keeping the bend in the knees. The knees can come out toward the armpits, and then the hands reach up, and maybe they grab the outer edges of the feet. This is one option for a happy baby. And maybe they grab the inner edges of the feet, a little bit more like motorcycle handlebars. Good. And we're just letting the legs settle in their own time. We're not really pressing down. And by the way, if the hands don't reach the feet, no big deal at all. Just grab the outer shins, outer calves. You can even kind of support the knees in the creases of the elbows. Good. And then let's cross the right ankle over the left knee, coming into a figure 4. And maybe the hands clasp underneath the left thigh as that left knee moves toward the chest. You can also grab onto the front of the shin. Might feel a little deeper for some. Good, and then switching sides. So left ankle crosses over right knee. Left hand is going to come between the legs and grab onto the back of that right thigh. Right hand, back of the right thigh. And then maybe that right knee begins to move a little closer toward you. Good, and if it feels accessible, maybe you experiment with grabbing the front of the shin. Noticing how that option feels in the body. Begin to close the eyes and tune into the breath. Good, and then releasing the hands, uncrossing the legs, and you can gently rock the knees from side to side once more. If you'd like to twist over to one side, so the knees fall, mine are falling to the left first. And then come back up to center, knees fall over to the right side. Good. And just taking a moment to check in with the body, head to toe. Noticing if there's any final positions, stretches, adjustments that the body needs. And when you feel ready, you can begin to extend through both legs, letting the arms rest down by the hips, and coming into your final resting position, Shavasana. And once you're here, release the work completely. Release needing to get anywhere, to do anything, to know anything. This is the opportunity to potently practice being. We release our identity. We release all the roles that we play in this world. We just come back to pure awareness. Continue to rest into the breath. See how spacious, how peaceful, how still you can be internally and externally. This is your true identity. Beginning to deepen the breaths, staying connected to this space within. Becoming aware of the body on the mat. And as you're ready, taking the arms overhead, legs together, one final full body stretch, and then rolling to your right side. Good, and keeping the body soft, press into the arms, letting the head stay downward, gaze stay downward as you find a seated position on your mat. Keeping the gaze down, and if you can, eyes closed. Feeling both sit bones on the mat, grounding you, holding you. Drawing the hands together and thumbs rest at heart center. Take a moment here just to say a prayer or a blessing for yourself and send it out to the whole world. And I will offer one aloud as well. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free of suffering, mind, body, and spirit. May I know peace and true liberation. And from the heart, I send this out to all beings. May we all be safe, happy, and free. Bowing your head to this wisdom center, the heart center. And staying here as long as you like. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. If you have any questions for me at all about anything we did in the practice, anything we've done in this series together here in January, please leave a comment below or reach out to me directly. I will leave my email in the description as always. And if there's anything that you're working on in your practice right now, maybe it's physically in the poses, maybe it's mentally, maybe there is an aspect of yoga philosophy that you're wanting to incorporate into your practice. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to send them my way and I will offer any resources that I have. Thank you for being a part of this community. Please continue to practice. Please continue to move into the witness, to move into the observer of your life. Not reacting, but intentionally responding from this inner well of wisdom. Thank you again.